Leeds. Hope you're all safe and well. Welcome to number 3 of the Corona Bloody Virus Extraordinary episodes. My guest this week was Rob Kilner. I met Rob as he was hosting a basements and balconies tour of Leeds as part of Heritage Open Days last summer. It was a really educational tour. I got to learn lots of things and I got to go to places that you don't normally get to go to. Rob specialises in nano-tourism, creative urban mini breaks, food tours and city engagement. Hear about his work and how it's been affected by lockdown. For my 3rd episode of Light on Leeds Corona Bloody Virus Extraordinary episodes, I'm welcoming along Rob Kilner. Hi Rob.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you, all things considering.
Good.
So Rob...
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say that I knew about you because of your Instagram account called Workers Lunchtime.
Yes.
And then I was lucky enough to go on your basements and balconies tour that you were running that was part of the Heritage Open Days.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about your Workers Lunchtime project that you have on Instagram?
I will, yeah. So I came across your Instagram on Instagram as well. And it was good to have you along on the basement and balconies thing. And I set up that Instagram about 4 or 5 years ago, I think. And then, because I thought I'll have a go at social media. And I was thinking, what have I got, if anything, of interest to add to the millions of things there? And I was spending a lot of time at work, and I didn't think that was worthy of it, and a lot of time bringing up my family, my daughter, and I didn't want to do that either. And then the rest of the week was busy, and I found that I had this hour every day of free time that I could do what the hell I wanted, pretty much. And that's what I did, and started taking pictures, exploring my lunch hour in all kinds of ways, and that's how it kind of started. Yeah. So it's just sort of trying to think of some substance to put behind your Instagram account then? Yeah, it was kind of like, I like having a project on the go, so it became It started off as a bit of a joke, really, because I was going through burnout at work, which I didn't realise at the time. It was a long process, more of a smouldering than a burn. But as part of dealing with it, I started exploring what wasn't work around, and so I started documenting it, and I created a kind of alter ego, and I kind of pretended I was working somewhere else. So I called it Workers Lunchtime PLC and Workers Lunchtime Inc. and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And someone actually applied for a job with me. I didn't even say there was any work. So I actually gently let them down. I said, we'll keep your name in case any jobs do come up.
That was a nice way to do it.
Yeah. But I mean, it was kind of like, I was thinking, what would my dream job be? And I was kind of just creating this imaginary job. And then I kind of thought, maybe I could try and do that as a job. So exploring and showing people stuff. And that's kind of what I moved into trying to do and trying to make some money doing it. And I've not managed to make enough money doing it to pay the bills, but I'm still developing it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you do monthly tours of Kirkgate Market, or you were doing before all of this, obviously.
Yeah. So I was lucky. I've been lucky many times, but I was lucky in that in 2016, the Compass Festival, which is a festival that happens every 2 years, so it's biannually, and it should be happening this year, but obviously things are a little up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But I volunteered for them because they were asked. I worked in the centre of Leeds, and they put a call out for people to be tour guides of the market. There was two artists, Katie and Simon, who are from way down south in Cornwall, and they were part of the festival. And they put a call out to get guides, but people who either worked in the market or used the market or had some other connection to the market. So they had this sort of guided tour thing going on throughout the festival. And it just sounded great. So I did it. I volunteered to be a guide in my lunch hour.
Oh, excellent.
And I just loved it. I did like a food tour, just where we went around the market with a budget, and we did it a few times with groups, and we'd sort of share the money out, and everyone would buy something and barter with the traders, and we'd end up with like a feast of just random food. It was great.
Oh, it's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Really good fun. And we sat down with a bottle of wine at the end and scoffed it all, and it was so good. And then I buggered us back to work. So I was having these great lunch hours, which were just amazing, finding new stuff to do, meeting new people, and that's just in an hour. And I thought, maybe there's an application for this.
Mm.
So the market tours, so now I've got my dream job. It's only for one day a month. But it's showing people around Kirkgate Market, and I absolutely love it. It's just great. And the first day I did it, I got the keys to the balcony, and I just stood there like I have arrived on the balcony before anyone turned up. It was the best.
It's such a fantastic view from that balcony, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's incredible. It's one of the best spots in Leeds, I think, best spaces. It's it's a incredible building. What, have you been up there before when you came on the...
I had previously been up there because for a bit, I think it was the council in conjunction with the markets were running tours, but I was really glad to just go and get a second chance to go and have a look anyway, because it's not something you get to do very often, is it? And it's very special.
Yeah, it's a good view of an amazing place.
It's just got such a lot of history, that building as well, hasn't it?
It has, and I keep finding out more and more stuff about it. So when I do the tours, it's great because people bring their own memories of it, and it's mainly local people who come on the tours. It's like about 95% people from Leeds.
Oh, that's brilliant.
At the market. Yeah. We've had someone from Australia, or a couple from Australia, and I don't think you can get any further away, can you? But, it's mainly people from Leeds, and most people have got memories of it, or, stories of when they were young. Some of the people haven't been in there for years, and because they've come on the tour, hopefully they'll come back, because I think it's just an amazing place in so many ways. Yeah.
So when you started doing your workers' lunchtime, where you were getting out and about in an hour,
yes.
Did that make you be able to cope with the burnout at work a bit better, or did that sort of give you the impetus to think I need to leave this job?
Bit of both, really. It helped. I mean, it wasn't a solution. It wasn't it didn't cure it.
No.
But I think it kind of made it more manageable, because I was going to work for my lunch, basically.
Yeah.
I'd been doing the job for 20 years, and it was tough in some ways. It was in finance and stockbroking. I went for 2 weeks 20 years ago, temporarily, and thought, this looks like a real job. And then before I knew it, I'd been there 20 years.
Gosh.
And it was fascinating and really interesting. Not something I'd ever considered doing, but it paid the bills. But yeah, so I was exploring, and it kind of just connected me to the city. These lunchtimes, I was meeting lovely people in the market. I was exploring, seeing how far I could go, and it just made me sort of reframe my day.
Yeah.
And I just loved what I was doing and discovering. And people said to me, "Oh, this is really interesting." Some people said that to me, and and then a mate put on an event called Peddling Ideas. Ian Street, he put on this event. I think it might have been 2016, down at Duke Street. He's a big cycling fan, and he wanted to do a weekend with stories about cycling that included cycling. And it was a really good weekend. He got people from all over the country to come and talk, really diverse mix of people.
Yeah.
And he asked me to talk, and I was like, "Are you sure? I don't think I've got anything to say." And he said, "Yeah, I really want you to do it." So I did like a 15-minute talk, and that gave me a bit of confidence because I was doing it like undercover.
Right. Because
I didn't want my work to know. I was having all these amazing lunchtimes. And then I eventually came out and as work as lunchtime. And I got more confidence about it. And now I'm trying to develop it. I've got onto a course with the School for Social Entrepreneurs.
All right.
To develop it, or just to kind of see if I can take it anywhere and where I can take it.
Yeah, well, I think it's a great thing, and I think sometimes when you visit a city, I know you said you get a lot of local people to the Kirkgate Market one especially, but when you go to a city sometimes and you visit in, it's really useful to have somebody who can show you, the parts of it that you might not never have come across, and to give you a little bit of history of the place.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a different flavour. If someone gives you the local view on it. One of the things that inspired me was I used to go away every year with my mates. We had a book club together, and we used to go to Spain for a week, few days.
Oh, nice.
Spain. Yeah, and just drink and eat and talk about books. And then when we were there, we were always saying, "Oh, why isn't Britain like this? Why isn't Leeds like this? Got this culture." Obviously, it's a different culture, but I kind of realised over the period that Leeds does have that culture. I just couldn't see it because I was in it.
Yeah.
And it has got, amazing places to eat and drink and places to visit, even if you live there.
Yeah.
And it's just looking at it in a different way, and I'm still doing that. I'm doing it now on my street, because we're all in lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of reframing.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to the neighbours about doing a rough guide to the street and how walks we can go on.
That's a great idea.
For an hour. Yeah, because it's an awful situation, but hopefully we can find ways to make it a bit better.
Yeah, get some sort of light out of the darkness. That would be brilliant.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of things going on all over in it. And to be honest, it really does give you, it doesn't make anything any better, but it gives you a little bit of light relief even just like the silly things that people get up to, like practicing dance routines with their parents and, playing, I saw somebody the other day playing, it looked like sort of like kites in their kitchen, but they were using brooms and something else. And I just thought it looks amazing. And I think it's great that people are actually delving into themselves and finding things to do.
Yeah, it seems like it makes me feel a bit like a bit youthful again, seeing all these people, you know, all the kids on the street chalking stuff. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have. That's so sweet.
Hopscotch.
Yeah.
And all these rainbows are about. I've been leafleting around the local area. You've been doing some too, haven't you? I
have, yeah. Yeah.
And do you see many rainbows out there?
I saw quite a few rainbows, and I had been a little bit nervous about going because just even the idea of going to sort of supermarkets and stuff is quite stressful at the minute, and I was worried about how many people are out and about and things. But anyway, I went along, and it was run by Leeds City Council, so I signed up through them. I think it was through doinggoodleeds.org.
Yes.
And anyway, I got coupled up with Slunglow because they're our local community hub. So I think it took me about 20 minutes to walk there, and that was really nice and quiet and a lovely day. And then, I took some South Leeds Life papers, and they had a leaflet about the volunteering. And on the other side, it was about everybody in South Leeds is encouraged, not just children, people of all ages, to make their own art. It can be anything and any style of anything. And then you ring this number and let Slunglow know that you've done it, and somebody will come and you leave it outside your house. Someone will come and take a professional photograph of it. Then they're going to put it on like weatherproof boards, and they're going to put them up on all the lampposts all the way through South Leeds, so that when people are going for the daily walk, it's like an art corridor, which I think is just such a brilliant idea.
Yeah, cool. Are you going to do anything?
I've been thinking about it, but I'm not sure what. I quite like cross stitching, but so I might do a cross stitch with rainbows on it, perhaps. Yeah, I might do. We'll see.
Is that what you do with? We used to do them at infant school.
Yeah, it's not difficult.
a square of like material with loads of holes in.
That's right. Yeah. So each stitch is just like a cross. Yeah.
Right. It's in the name, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I quite like, because in general, I quite like subversive cross stitch because it seems like it's such like like a traditional feminine sort of thing to do, but the patterns that I follow quite often say things about patriarchy or like, some sort of slogan that does not fit with the general idea of cross stitch.
Excellent.
Yeah, I quite like doing that. So, but I won't do a subversive one for South Leeds. I'll just do a normal one.
Have you seen there's a group that does that in the Corn Exchange, I think?
Oh, I didn't know that, no. I'll have to check that out.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's pretty profane. Is that the right word?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
It's just like... can you swear on here?
You can't.
I saw one, it was just, I can't remember what it said, so I won't make it up, but I'll try and remember what it was called. I've got another guy who's on the School for Social Entrepreneurs course.
Yeah.
He's Andrew Critchett, who runs the cafe in the Corn Exchange called Ground Up.
Yes, I know of those, yeah.
Yeah, which is about stopping the stigma around mental health and stuff, and he's been doing some really great stuff in there, and this subversive, profane, foul-mouthed cross-stitching group were in there. Yeah.
When everything's back to normal, I'll have to definitely check that out. So how's your volunteering gone on?
My volunteering's been, I've really enjoyed it. I've finished now. I did a few days in Farsley, I'm in Pudsey, but it's next door, more or less. But I've kind of, I don't know if I should say this, but it seems to be this, Farsley and Pudsey are two, I think, quite separate towns in some people's eyes.
Right.
So that's been eye-opening.
Yeah.
But also, I've really enjoyed it because I've discovered new places just walking around that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
For some reason, there's shed loads of ginnels in Farsley.
I wonder why.
Someone told me that there's a bylaw or some rule and regulation that any houses that are built have to have a ginnel next to them or something.
Wow.
Not quite everyone, but... And then she said, my husband told me that he sometimes makes things up. I don't know if it's true.
Well, even if it isn't true, it's a really good story.
Yeah, and there are loads of ginnels if you ever go to Farsley. Yeah, it's bizarre. But also, there's an app you can get for people who like exercise called Strava.
Oh, yeah.
And you can sort of map where you go. So I just kind of tracked myself where I went, and just to see how far I was going. And one day I did about 5 miles, and I asked the postman who was on his round, I said, how many miles do you do a day? And he said, about 11. I was like, 11 miles a day?
Wow.
And then I saw another postman, and I was like cross-referencing, so I asked him how far he does, and he said 8 to 10, maybe 11.
Oh.
So that is a lot of miles, isn't it?
That is definitely getting your step count in every single day.
It certainly is. Fitbit. Yeah. So...
How far did you get when you were doing your workers' lunchtime, your hour? How far did you manage to get in your lunch?
I tried different methods of transport, so walking, running, cycling, horse, canoe, and train. I got a car, hired car, train. I got to York, which was, I think it's about 20. I hit a top speed. I Strava that as well. I got the app on that. Mm-hmm. So I think I went 120 miles an hour or something, which was the fastest I got. But yeah, so I spent 2 minutes in York and then had to run over the platform to get back in time for the afternoon. And
you managed to do that in an hour?
Just about, yeah. I was a bit sweaty. But, it was... Yeah, I just wanted to see, because I tried to drive to York in an hour and back, thinking it's not that far. It's like 25 miles. You can drive 50 miles an hour, can't you, to York, probably.
Yeah.
On a good day, but I hadn't really thought it through. And there's a lot of traffic lights, obviously, junctions. So driving is actually not a very flexible way of getting around, I found. I made it to the Red Bus Cafe on York Road, you know that?
Oh, yeah, on the A64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave up. I'm not going to get to York. I'm going to have a fry-up instead. That was good. Where else did I go? So I kind of mapped out how far I could go. So I worked out that if you walk sort of an average pace in a straight line and then work out a radius, that is the size of a small country. So I realised that I've actually got all this space to explore every day when I'm at work. And I just tried different directions. I went to places like the Chinese Elderly Association lunch and had amazing food, and what else? I can't remember. One of the reasons why I started... Yeah, so I was trying to get to York. And I did it on the train, but previous to that, I tried to drive there. So I hired a car for an hour and a half.
Wow.
Because you can do that now. And I thought I'd get there, but I hadn't envisaged how slow it would be driving out of the centre of Leeds because of all the junctions and traffic lights. So I abandoned it near the Dogs Trust.
Oh, yeah.
On the A64, I got there and thought, I'm not going to get to York. So I had a fry-up in the Red Bus Cafe instead, which was very nice. But I think it's closed now.
Yeah, I think it is. I think there seemed to be a bit of a kerfuffle about the council being strange about what way round the door was facing to the road or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something to do with like a tax bracket, or there was something to do with they ended up in like a different band, or they had to pay more money or for a license or something. So they ended up turning the door the other way around to face the trees. And then I'm not sure if that just had a big impact. And yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? Because it's quite an iconic cafe in that old red bus.
Yeah, get a great view of the A64.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, train to York, and trains aren't a very flexible way of getting around either, because you can only go where the train takes you.
Yeah.
So I worked out the best thing to do was walk around or cycle.
Yeah.
So, cycling, got to the vineyard out at Rothwell.
A vineyard in Rothwell?
Vineyard in Rothwell. It's not called, I can't remember the name of the place. It's near the river. What's it called? There's a farm shop, a fancy organic farm, Swillington, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a guy there, George, I think it's George, who has been growing vines there for 30 odd years and making this wine. And I thought, that sounds like a good thing to do if you were going on holiday, because that was part of the idea of the project as it developed, to feel like I'd been on holiday.
Do the kind of things that you'd do if you were on a holiday.
Yeah. And so I thought I'd go to a vineyard on a holiday if there was one there. So I did that, and it did make me feel like I'd been on holiday. It changed my perspective about Leeds in a really profound way.
Yeah, because you were going out and actively seeking sort of different experiences, so you sort of seen a different side to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And all these experiences and places stay with you. So when I was sitting at my desk doing whatever I was doing, I knew there was a vineyard out east, or I knew that I could go for a cycle along the canal, or go and look for kingfishers down at the river, or go to the Basement Arts Project in Beeston.
Oh, yeah.
Loads of times. Bruce's project there is fantastic. I haven't been for a while, but he did some great stuff. He was fantastic.
Yeah, he's been a previous guest.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying he's been a previous guest. Jerry does all sorts of great stuff down there. Yeah,
I listened to that one. That was a good one, yeah. It is amazing. I'd heard of it somewhere, and, I'd heard of the vineyard years ago, and I'd heard of this Basement Arts Project. But it was sort of things I just thought, they were somewhere, but I don't know where they are. But then when I sort of pushed myself to go and visit these things, I just discovered all these great folk doing amazing things around. And you mentioned doing good Leeds earlier regarding the leafleting.
Yeah.
That's Voluntary Action Leeds.
Yeah.
Who run that. And they have a website where it's got loads of volunteering things on there. And I was thinking years ago, I've got this hour. Can I be of any use to anyone?
Yeah.
Can I volunteer? I know it's only an hour, but even if it's just speaking to someone or being there. So I looked on that website, and they were looking for trustees at Voluntary Action Leeds. So I applied, not really knowing what a trustee was at all. So I became a trustee for them, and then found out all kinds of other amazing things that were going on, and learned a bit about the third sector, which is one of the terms charities and social enterprises fall into.
Mm-hmm. And so what did becoming a trustee involve?
So a trustee, you provide the governance for the organisation. So essentially, you're overseeing it. So you have to basically make sure it's being run correctly,
mm-hmm.
and that the finances are all good, and that the money's being spent on what it's meant to be being spent on. And
right, yeah.
It's like a board. It's like a board in a private company, but you've got the ethics are different, and
So a bit like when you get like a team of governors in a school, it's like you've got it's like a second check.
Yeah. It's so there's people running the organisation, doing the daily operations, but you're overseeing it, and you've got to make decisions as a board, and if there's any the bigger decisions need to go by the board, but the day-to-day operations are still going on.
Mm-hmm.
Leeds, and there's just so much that I don't know about the place.
It's great that you can still be learning, isn't it?
Yeah.
That it's constantly surprising you and showing you new things.
Yeah. I mean, there's always something new to find out. And then I did that for 3 years at the voluntary action Leeds, and thought that's a good innings. So I stopped that, and then Compass Live Art asked me to be a trustee, which exactly the same time, and I've had so much fun with them doing the market tours that I said yes to that.
Excellent.
Yeah, and then the Leeds Library asked me, because they heard that I'd had some finance background, and they asked me to be the treasurer, and I was like, what's one of those? I had to find out and do a bit of research, so I'm on the board there as well now, which is another amazing spot.
Oh, I absolutely adore Leeds Library. It's just so, so beautiful.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's another place that I only discovered fairly recently, last 5 years or so, when I was exploring in my lunch hours. And the first time I went in there, I just could not believe that I'd been walking past this place for years.
Yeah, me neither, because the entrance is just so unassuming, isn't it?
Yeah, and it just opens, when you go up the staircase and you open the door, it just opens up, and it's a totally different world, isn't it? It smells different, and
it's like a fairy tale dwelling for people who love books. It's just It just sort of feels magical, or like a set from Harry Potter or something.
Yeah, it does have a sort of. I find when the book's around, it creates a sort of different ambience in the place, and so it is amazing. I stayed the night in there the other week, slept over.
Did you?
Yes, there was an event on, like a writing event, and writing through the night. It was part of the Leeds Lit Fest.
Oh yeah.
And it was very bizarre, because we stayed at Port. Most people, the idea was to write through the night, just do these writing exercises.
Yeah.
And I thought that sounds like fun. So I just wanted to sleep in the library, really. I got a couple of hours kip, but it was bizarre because we were on one night with a couple of hours isn't exactly sleep deprivation, but it was still having odd effects on people. They couldn't remember. They were forgetting things, and it was really bizarre. Plus, it's haunted.
Ooh, did you see anything spooky?
No. I've heard some pretty unruly noises, but I don't think they were ghosts. They were just some of the other blokes.
So who is it rumoured to be haunted by then?
I should know. It's a guy who he used to run it, I think, and he was being seen by various people, and people who clean it and stuff have had books fall off the shelves, and seen people walk through walls, etc.
Wow.
I went to a seance in there as well.
Oh my goodness.
What was that part of? That was part of the Leeds Lit Fest last year. So it was a walk around Leeds with this guy who was a poet, and then came back into the library and did a seance. And I was getting the chills.
Oh,
and
God.
I don't believe in anything like ghosties or anything. But yeah.
I bet that was really spooky in there.
It was. It was obviously all set up, but I was still frightened.
Yeah, but it's nice to put yourself in a position like that sometimes, isn't it? To sort of, I don't know, you don't really feel things like that since you were a kid. So it's nice sometimes to put yourself out of your comfort zone and not really know what to expect.
Yeah, I'm getting the chills now thinking about it.
Did you mention that you managed on your hour walks that you managed to get about by horse?
I didn't manage to get about by horse exactly, but I did go on the horse.
Yeah.
I was I got really interested in the history of Leeds, and, not so long ago, you would either just walk or get on a horse, if you were lucky. So I thought, oh yeah, I went on holiday to Ireland, and we did things like canoeing and horse riding on the beach, which was great, in Western Ireland. And then when I came back, I thought, I don't want this holiday feeling to go. So I started looking into if I could go on a horse in my lunch hour. And the closest place I could find was Middleton, near the sports, John Charles.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, there's a stables. And they do all kinds of, it's a charity, I think, and they do all kinds of riding stuff. So I got in touch with them and asked if I could have a horse lesson in the middle of the day. And, yeah. So their health and safety was a bit more stringent than in Ireland. So, I was sat there just trotting around Middleton Park with me hard hat on. Whereas in Ireland we were like galloping along the beach and stuff, that was terrifying as well. But we managed to do a lap of Middleton Park. I took 2 hours. I had an extra hour loo, I'd done some overtime, so I had a 2-hour lunch. So yeah, I cycled out to Middleton Park, which is an amazing place.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and did a lap, it was lovely. And then went back to work smelling of horses.
And everyone's thinking, what has he been doing?
Yeah. I occasionally pull a bottle of wine out of my bag or something and say, I've just picked this up from the vineyard, and people go, what? Well, where have you been? Yeah, so another thing, the idea of getting refreshed, because work, if you're sitting down all day, and whatever work you're doing, sitting in front of a screen can do you nutting sometimes. So I was thinking, how can you get that kind of refreshed feeling of going on holiday, rather than waiting 6 months to go on holiday? Get it in smaller, short bursts. So part of the project was exploring ideas of going on holiday, and so I went on a sunbed to see if I don't even like lying on beaches, to be honest, but I don't know why I thought about lying in a sunbed and make me feel better. So I tried it anyway. I lasted about 3 minutes, and I just thought, this is weird. It was in an amusement arcade down by the market.
I know.
Have you seen them?
Yeah. It always seems like such a strange pairing, doesn't it? Because they're always like with bandit machines and stuff, but in the same building you can also go and have a suntan.
It is bizarre, isn't it? It's like anything you can put some money in. We're going to have it.
Yeah.
And I did go. There's another amusement arcade down by the sunbed one. If anyone wants to go in, it is on Fish Street. But I think there are other sunbeds are available.
Yeah.
And the other one I went in was on Kergate because I wanted to go gambling. Not that I'm a gambler, but I just thought, people go to Las Vegas and stuff. I'll try my luck with the fruit machines. I have no idea how to use a fruit machine. But I went in. Do you know the one next to the Regent? Is it the Regent?
Yes, next to the Regent pub. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's one there. I can't remember what it's called, but it said free tea and coffee outside. So I thought, yes,
I'm in.
Yeah. So I got my free tea, but I didn't get. I don't think. Oh no, it was free tea and toast.
Free tea and toast.
He never brought the toast out. I've just remembered.
Oh, you'll have to go back and complain.
Yeah. But anyway, I went in with about £3 and came out with 5.
Wow.
Because someone in there helped me. I had no idea what I was doing. I was going to take a picture to put on the Instagram, just so I could remember what I'd done. It's like Memento. Have you seen that film?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. That's what my Instagram's for. Yeah, so I was going to take a picture, and one of the ladies they wear these tabards in there, and she said, no photographs. I don't know why.
In case anybody's going to try and steal a layout of fruit machines or the decor.
It's an amazing building, that, from the outside. And I kind of thought it'd be amazing inside, but it's not.
No.
It's just got this sort of pretend wood veneer roof, really, really low. It must be amazing behind all that veneer.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
We'll find out one day, maybe.
Say again?
We might find out one day if
the
culture of gambling ever ends.
I know. I think they're horrible places, though.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's really, I think, is a bit awful because of the whole coronavirus thing. I don't know. Some of the adverts seem really incongruous, but they seem to be sorting that out now, and there seem to be adverts that make more sense to our current situation. But I've noticed that there's still a proliferation of gambling. You know, like the ones that you can get on your phone, the apps and things like that. And I just thought that's a particularly insensitive thing to be doing at this time when a lot of people are struggling and getting a lot less money than they were previously, and perhaps worrying about how they're going to cope when they get out of it. And also we're all looking at our mobile phones and social media more because we're stuck inside. Yeah, I thought that was a bit of I don't know, I think there could be a little bit more thought put into that.
Yeah, it's, some people are really susceptible to it, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's not. I was talking with a neighbour about this kind of thing yesterday about, like those horrible fixed odds betting terminals that are in bookies and, just how awful it is. And I remember when Labour were last in, and they were talking about building super casinos around, and it made me feel really uncomfortable. Yeah,
it's such a strange thing. And then also I think when we were sort of in the recession, it was very clear when you were going anywhere that the only things that seemed to be surviving were second-hand shops, hairdressers, and... Oh, sorry, that was my cat being odd on the table just then. Second-hand shops, hairdressers, and betting shops, which seems like a strange mix of things that got to survive.
Yeah, and whatever they say, they prey on people who haven't got the money.
Yeah. Because I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody local because it was on Look North. And it was a family who were campaigning because I think their son was only sort of in his early 20s, and he'd ended up committing suicide because of how much debt he'd got into on one of these sites. And they were campaigning to stop big football clubs from using these names from these betting conglomerates to stop using them.
Yeah, I think I might have seen something about that. Yeah, because I know. I think there were some matches on some Premier League matches recently where you had to sign up via a gambling site in order to watch it.
Oh my God!
It might have been. I can't remember. My football knowledge is not great, but yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because there's so much money obviously being made by these companies, and then they sponsor clubs, etc. But it's questionable.
Yeah, I think somebody needs to sort of take responsibility for this kind of thing. So can I ask you, Rob, one of the three questions that I always ask the guests, the first one being, what would you say is great about Leeds?
I would say what is great about Leeds is Leeds Market.
Yeah.
It's great. And it's still open. Still going.
It is, yeah.
I wouldn't advise anyone to go anywhere shopping, or not. But it's not only great because of the food and the prices, but it's full of great people. It's not full of great people because there's not that many in there at the moment. But you can keep socially distanced because there's so much space.
Yeah.
And I just get a warm feeling every time I go in there. And I meant to mention as well, there's some research going on at Leeds University by an academic called Sarah Gonzalez.
Yeah.
She's a market academic,
yeah,
I think. And they're doing, I think it's called Markets for People, and she's doing loads of research on the social, economic and cultural value of markets. And, it's not just somewhere to buy food. It's a whole lot more. It helps people's health and people get connected. And I went to see a talk recently, and she said it's in a unique space where people rub along,
Yeah, I agree with that.
People from all over the world are in Leeds Market, and in markets all over the place. It's a truly amazing kind of space.
It is. It's such a great. It's such a great resource for the city, I think, as well. And they really seem to be sort of branching out. I mean, before all this, when they had, like they've got like a little branch of the library in there now, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, they've got to keep changing, and that's one thing that I've realised. It can be quite hard for people to see that Butcher's Row has closed down, or that some store has closed, and it is horrible when people can't make it work, or when things that are familiar change. But over the years, it's a really dynamic environment, and it's always changing, like everything. So it will change, and there's going to be the plans are to build a massive 6-story hotel on the side of it.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. So it'll change again, but people in the future will probably come to look at that as normal. And
yeah, of course. I suppose things have to evolve to some extent, don't they?
Yeah, and they need to keep it bringing the money in somehow, and hopefully that'll. I don't know. The world's changed dramatically, hasn't it, in the last month or so?
Mm-hmm. And what would you say is something that's not so great about Leeds?
So something that's not so great about Leeds is that when I was growing up, I used to live down by the river, and you could smell it. I was probably about a quarter of a mile from it, but on a hot summer's day, you could it had a particular aroma, which wasn't very pleasant. I had a mate who lived right next to it as well, and his house really ponged.
Oh.
But, in a nice way.
Yeah.
But it was, and we used to do daft things as kids down there. They were probably dangerous, but, on swings and stuff, and you just never would want to fall in it.
No.
But it's a lot cleaner now. Also, that's just reminded me as well that the Kirkstall Forge used to still run them, and they used to have a hammer. Used to hammer through the night. So it was quite a sensory place with the sounds and the smells.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, so it wasn't particularly... it's a beautiful river, but it wasn't one that you would swim in.
No.
No, but people do now. I've seen people. I've done it.
And it's smelling better?
Yeah. It was just really cold.
Right.
I did meet someone down, where if you go down the river to that massive old mill that's been done up.
Hunslet Mill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a bit further down, there's some houses next to it. I once was having a chat with a guy there who claimed that he'd just seen a massive catfish that was as big as the front wheel of my bike, he said, in the river. But he said he used to swim in it when he was a kid.
Ah. I'm not sure I'd want to swim in it with massive catfish.
Yeah. It must have been huge, because my bike's like an adult-sized bike. As you'd expect.
Just riding around a little children's bike. And what would you say, what could you tell us, if you'd been a resident of Leeds for a long time, could you tell me something that I might never have heard of that's a hidden gem?
Yeah. I would tell you about Full Neck, which is near me in Pudsey, and it's on the edge. It's probably nearer Bradford Centre than Leeds Centre.
Mm-hmm.
It's right in the middle, and it's in Tong Valley, and it's a really unusual place because it's a Moravian settlement.
Moravian,
which is in Bohemia,
mm-hmm.
in Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
And they were persecuted for being Protestants in way back, and they left there, and over many, many years kind of dispersed, and for some reason chose Pudsey. But why not? It's lovely.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's lovely as Pudsey.
Yeah. But yeah, I've only just kind of been looking into the history of it, but it's a beautiful place, and I was the church organist there for 2 sessions, so I got to see inside the church, which I think is a Grade 1 listed building.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So what can you see there then? So there's a church, and is it buildings or?
Yeah, so I think it is classed as the longest. I don't know what the architectural term for it is, but it's a long. You know, like Harewood House is really long.
Yeah.
This is really long, like Harewood House, but I think it's longer.
Oh, right.
That's its claim to fame. It's claim to fame. It's longer than Harewood House. It's building, and it's. I think it's Moravian style architecture,
right,
or something like that. And it's symmetrical, so they've got this big church in the middle, I think, and then it's symmetrical on either side. So it's just a long kind of. There's an architectural term for it, and I can't remember. But I think there's some books on architecture by a bloke called Pevsner, and he claimed it's in there, and it's some kind of architectural wonder. But you will see that. And there's a museum, which I've never been in, a tiny museum, which it's got really odd opening hours. You know, like the best fish and chip shops have really odd opening hours.
Yeah.
So this place I have no idea when it's open, but I really should go. And then there's a cafe that does pretty good fry-ups.
Oh, lovely. That sounds like a great place to visit.
Yeah. And a pub, which is just shut.
Oh.
But I'm sure it'll be open again soon.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. Let's hope so.
It was shut before coronavirus.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's called the Bank House. It's really nice.
Well, hopefully someone will take it over when everything gets back to normal.
Yeah, it's one of them. I think it's owned by Heineken. You know Heineken? They've got this subsidiary called Stars and Bars or something.
All right.
And they own loads of pubs that you probably don't think are owned by Heineken.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Supplying you alcohol, but quietly, on the sly.
Yeah.
Not letting you know that it's them.
Yes, exactly.
So talking about this not being normal times, how are you personally coping with lockdown?
It's kind of, it's tricky because I'm looking for a proper job at the moment, like one that pays the bills.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of on hold because there are some jobs, there's jobs with supermarkets, etc.
Yeah.
Which I'm applying for and all kinds of stuff. But, some of the other organisations have got better things to do than take on new people at the moment.
Yeah, but that's really hard for you. It's like a really difficult time to be sort of changing anything, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's tricky not seeing people that you usually see.
Yeah.
But I've spoken to loads of neighbours that I've never spoken to before, and our back streets turned into a sort of continental village. The guy who used to have the fish and chip shop brought me a loaf of bread. He gave me a bottle of his homebrew wine.
Oh.
Yesterday. Someone gave me some rhubarb. We're sort of trading beer between us. And what else? Oh yeah, someone's been delivering eggs around.
Oh, that's really lovely. Because that was going to be one of the questions. Can you think of anything positive to come out of it? But clearly there are already, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, it's lovely, and it's just nice because there's people on the street I've never met, and it's nice to sort of connect.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's some lovely things, isn't there? I managed to get myself some plants delivered, but they delivered me far too many pea plants for my tiny yard. And so I have pea plants, yeah.
Like peas to eat?
Peas to eat, yeah. Well, the thing is they look nice as well, so it's a bit of a two-pronged approach, because they grow quite tall, you get some lovely flowers off them, and then eventually you get your peas, which I really love fresh peas. But yeah, I had too many, so I called a neighbour and said, I'll leave them on my bin in my yard if you could use them. And he came and collected them and left me a little jar of homemade jam on my doorstep, which I thought was really lovely.
Oh, that was lovely. Yeah.
Yes, there are some nice positive things that are coming out of it all. Do you think you've got any sort of hopes for how you think things will be in the future?
Well, I kind of hope that it affects the way economic decisions are made in the country.
Yeah.
That would bring the disparity between the most well off and the least well off narrower. But I'm in two minds about whether that will happen. Yeah,
because I don't know if you've looked at the news or anything today, but there was an article. I think it was Emily Maitlis who apparently was introduced in Newsnight, and she was saying this whole thing about we're all in it together, and it sort of brings us all down to the same level. And she was saying, that's an absolute load of rubbish. For some people, this virus, for the poorer of us, or anyone who's having to suddenly get benefits, or even just keep on with the benefits they've already got. People who are self-employed, all the people who usually get the money from any sort of entertainment. I think we're not currently seeing it, but hopefully that would be a great thing to come out of it. And just this whole thing about, I work a lot with NHS staff at the University of Leeds anyway, and obviously they're all doing an amazing job. But also you get the people who, like my sister's working in an old people's home, then you got the people whose jobs were not necessarily seen as particularly important before, like taxi drivers, delivery drivers, my cousin works in a supermarket and is having a hard time. All of a sudden, and bin men, all of a sudden all these people who didn't seem like they had the highest strata sort of job, and now the linchpins of our society.
Yeah, they are. They're keeping everything working. And the key worker thing is really interesting because, there are people who are getting paid to not do anything at the moment, being furloughed, and, some of these jobs are not that important. That people aren't doing and that don't need to be done, but the important ones that are being done are the ones that are most valuable. But it's just how they're valued that is off kilter. Yeah,
so hopefully it'll help us all sort of relook at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I think at some point I am going to have to bite the bullet and go to a supermarket, but I've not been to one for 3 weeks. Just because all the pictures on TV and just the thought of it, and it's not so much about me worrying about getting it as much as it is about me making sure that I'm obeying the rules, and then getting anxious if somebody else isn't quite doing what they should be doing. I'd rather just not be in that situation. But I've been lucky in the meantime to be able to keep going because I can get. Luckily because we live in Leeds, we've got a a plethora of shops and businesses that are doing delivery, which is fantastic. And you were mentioning about the market still being open and, you know, people can still shop there. I've been lucky enough to be able to get fruit and veg delivered from Neil's Grocers in the market. And you can go on Facebook and find them on your local greengrocer Leeds and make your order through there. And then Malcolm Michael's Butchers, they'll deliver you stuff, you know what I mean? And I think it's definitely made me, I mean, I was already engaged with independent people, but it's definitely made me engage with smaller independent businesses more, which I think can't be a bad thing.
Yeah, there's less people in the chain, isn't there, when you're buying from local independents, and you get more than just the produce. You get, you know, you get a smile and you get a chat, or you might even get some recipe ideas, or, you know, it's a human exchange, and it's great. Yeah. And it's great that they're doing deliveries, and a lot of the stalls in the market as well that have had to close are doing amazing, lovely things online as well, like giving recipe ideas and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's great as well. I think because it's, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't watch any soaps, but my mum said she really felt like the lockdown had kicked in when I think it was Emmerdale was cancelled first. And then she's like, it's real.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see as well, like what people are going to come up with and how they're going to sort of fill those gaps, really.
Yeah. What, you mean like Emmerdale?
Yeah, and also like all the things that were currently in production that they've obviously had to stop everything. So I'm wondering whether what's going to happen is, I mean, there's all the subscription services, of course, but then, you know, just with normal terrestrial TV, I'm wondering if what they're going to have to do is the sort of traditional English channels, whether they're going to have to go back into their archives and sort of show us some old things, which might be quite interesting.
Yeah. It's the same with the sport, isn't it? That all the matches are cancelled, and matches of the day, they're showing old matches on there.
Yeah, and I think Leeds United on YouTube, on their YouTube channel, are showing, like, I think my son was telling me, I think it's all of Euro 96 or something. They're showing all the games.
Yeah.
So yeah,
they were playing like PlayStation football on Twitter the other day, like Leeds versus someone like Wolves or something.
That's great.
Yeah, because there's all that. There's all these decisions that have to be made, isn't there, about, you know, kids, not O-levels, GCSEs and A-levels, and results, and who's going to win the championship and the premiership, and all these decisions that someone's going to have to work out on a spreadsheet. Yeah. Somewhere.
Some poor person who's having to work from home and still work all that stuff out for us.
Yeah, so all this homeworking as well, people, that must be quite... Are you homeworking?
I am, yeah. It's very difficult because obviously everything happened very quickly, and I've got an absolutely ancient laptop that I can't really do any work on because I can't, because it's just not secure. But so I have an iPad, so I'm trying to do things on an iPad, but that is not great. But luckily for me, there's not a great deal to do at the moment, so it's just about keeping an eye on emails and making sure you're staying in touch with people. But the university are actually, I don't know what I'm going to get, because apparently you could end up with a huge PC or a laptop or something, but they are being really good about any students or staff who've been left without appropriate equipment, about finding a way to get things out to us, because I imagine eventually work will ramp up more for me as we get closer to a point where we can bring back students. But yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah.
But I mean, another positive thing that's really nice is every day I have a coffee chat with my colleagues. So we, you know, using technology to we use Microsoft Teams at the university, and then you can all see each other, and you're having a chat and you're having a coffee, and you can, you know, talk about any frustrations that you've got with work or anything about working from home, and that's been really lovely.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's nice to keep in touch with folk. I've been doing a bit of that. Never wanted to do that in the past.
No.
Sort of have my face on my computer or anyone else's. But I did it this morning with the social entrepreneur thing, and it's just nice to see people and
it is.
See what they're doing and look in their kitchens.
I'm the same as you. I've never really liked FaceTime, and if any of my family try and FaceTime me, I will just have the microphone on because I find it distracting rather than anything else. And but like the same as you, because I'm missing my family and I want to see them. I've been embracing seeing people by video more.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? I mean, I'm doing it and I like it, but it's weird because even when you talk to someone face to face, you don't look at them all the time.
No.
When you're doing this, just like you can't do anything else but just look at them.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, they can't really see you, but they can. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of new stuff to get used to. What will you be doing for the rest of your day today, Rob?
Rest of the day, well, I've finished all the leafleting, so what have I got to do? I've got a job to apply for in Kirklees.
Nice.
Kirklees, it sounds really good. It's something with the markets in Kirklees.
Oh, lovely, so that's right up your street.
It would be great. I'm not getting my hopes up because I'm terrible, I shouldn't say this, but I'm really bad at interviews. And I can't seem to convince anyone that I want to work.
You'll have to work on your skills in this downtime.
I'm really rubbish at it. What I'm going to do for the rest of the day? Well, I'm thinking about getting a band together on the street in the front garden.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So I've got a piano in the living room, and then someone can play the ukulele 3 doors down, and someone's got a saxophone 2 doors up, so we might be able to... I think it's doing Baker Street, but renaming it after our street.
That's a great idea. Let's get that. Definitely put that on Instagram. Let everyone see. Let everyone see the results of that.
Yeah, and I had quite a nice night out. Yes, night out last night. We got out. Everyone sat at the end of the gardens. Not everyone, but some people sat at the end of their yards or gardens, and we just had a beer out the back. So everyone was like about 4 meters apart.
Yeah.
But it was nice.
Oh, that's lovely to hear.
Yeah. How about you?
I've actually got 2 more podcasts to record this afternoon.
Yeah, are you able to say who they are?
Yeah, one of them is Chris Nixon, who's been a previous guest. He's a really well-known author, and he's celebrating 10 years of being an author, so that'll be nice to hear from him.
Very good.
And he's got an allotment, so I'm hoping to get some sort of planting tips.
Right, yeah.
And then I've got a lady called Donetta Copeland, who is a musician, and I've been following her for quite a while, so I'm quite excited to be speaking to her. So yeah, that's great. And then I might try and go for my my walk around. I might go to Crossflats Park because I don't think it's too busy in there. And I normally always have an Easter tree. I know it sounds ridiculous, and the tree is just basically like some like branches that I'll pick up from the florist at the market, and then I hang little eggs and things on them. But I've obviously not been able to get there this year, so I'm going to go around Crossflats Park seeing if I can find an appropriate branchy twig that I can use to hang my little Easter ornaments on for tomorrow.
Liking that idea. That sounds...
Well, no doubt we posted a picture of it.
Yes, please do.
But I was thinking as well, if I can't find an appropriate twig, I was thinking, I wonder if it's possible to make it from like pipe cleaners and papier-mâché. Yes,
that sounds like an edition of Blue Peter.
Yeah, I think I might actually give that a go because I think that's one of the other good things about this whole strange situation is sometimes it feels a bit like you're exploring your own home. So you're going to drawers that you've not been in for ages, or like I found all sorts of interesting ththings in my basement that are necessary and I need, and I thought I needed to buy again, but I actually don't because they already exist.
What have you got?
What did I find the other day? I bought some little sort of vintage cake plates ages ago. And I couldn't find them, and they'd been moved around, and I found those. So then I made a cake to go with the cake plates, so that was good.
Mm-hmm.
And also I'm decorating my bedroom, and just before lockdown, I kept meaning to go and get some, that sort of orange soap water stuff. I can't think what you call it. And it helps you get your wallpaper off easier, basically.
Yes, yeah.
And I've been meaning to go for ages and ages, and then lockdown came, and then I kicked myself because I was like, now I've got the perfect time to redecorate, and didn't have it. And then when I was doing it was a bit like doing a mountain climb through my basement because there's all sorts of stuff down there. And then I spotted it at the back, like in the distance, and I was like, oh my goodness, I already had some. So that was a good find.
Yes. What is that stuff called?
Is it like soap water or something?
It is something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got quite a lot of projects to be getting on with.
Good.
Well, thank you so much for... sorry, say again.
You just reminded me I bought myself a cream egg yesterday and I've not eaten it.
Oh, so you've got that to look forward to.
Yes. I've had one for ages.
I panic ate my Easter egg weeks ago when all this stuff started out. I was like, oh my God, I can't take it. I need to eat chocolate.
Yes. Always.
Thank you so much for coming along and being a guest.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. And I will listen to your new ones when they're out. And when are you going to do one? Is someone going to interview you?
I've been invited to go on podcasts before, but it's never sort of got to the sort of fulfillment stage, really. So, and I think everybody's a little bit on hold. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. I think I'm being interviewed for South Leeds Life newspaper at some point, so that'll be nice.
Yes, I saw your name somewhere to do with podcasting on Leeds Arts and Health Network. Was that right?
Oh yeah, because I've got a representative of them coming tomorrow to be on a podcast. So
right.
They're doing all sorts of great things. So yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting those people. Yeah, we're all over at the moment.
Great.
Oh, well, unfortunately, the phone just cut out. I am absolutely not sure why. But it was lovely speaking to Rob, and I'm really looking forward to hearing his neighbourhood band. So yeah, check out Rob's IG account, Workers Lunchtime. You could also see him on Better Culture Talks on YouTube, but I'll put all the links to all this stuff in the podcast. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. I really enjoyed talking to Rob, and I'd thoroughly recommend checking out his Better Culture Talks on YouTube. They are brilliant. The track featured on this episode is a real banger called Skin Tight by the band Pornographic Sunset. Give it a listen.
Shake